That looks so cool. Guten gardening, everybody. I am so excited to make this video today, and you're gonna see why in just a second. Now today I'm gonna be unboxing and setting up a brand new green stalk. It's actually a limited time color for this green stalk, just in time for Mother's Day. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the green stalk, and I'm gonna be putting it right behind me. But the thing I'm most excited about is who is joining me for this video. Because as you probably, if you followed our channel over the last couple of years, you should know we have two gardeners in training, my two daughters, and the older gardener in training has recently gotten back involved with the idea of growing plants, propagating plants, etc. And she needed a garden space because she wanted to have an herb garden. And when she saw this green stalk online, she thought that this was the perfect color for her. And so she's going to make all the decisions in terms of what we grow in this particular green stalk. And she's going to join me here in just a second and set this up with me and plant and everything else. And so I'm super excited to do this. And I'm going to put a plug in there for those of you who have children that are, let's say, high school age, for example, and they have, or even middle school age, and they have an opportunity to get involved with some of the agriculture classes if your school offers that. I can't recommend that highly enough. You know, when I was in high school, the FFA and agriculture courses were certainly formative for me. They made a big difference in my life, and I think just exposing children to some of those opportunities can be incredibly important. So I'll put a big plug out there because I think that's made a big difference, certainly for my older gardener in training. All right, I'm going to have her take a look at this in person for the first time and see what she thinks. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to do the complete setup and plant almost everything that she wants to put in here today. But this is our first time. This is your first time really seeing this, so tell me what you think. This is called Cherry Blossom Pink.
Oh, it's so cute.
You like this color?
It's like a little kiddie pool that we have.
Oh, it does kind of look like that kiddie pool from back in the... That's so true.
I want to see the stickers.
You want to see all the stickers that come with it? Let's grow. Oh, they got the ladybug in there. Hey, we know about ladybugs, right? Mm-hmm. I use those all the time. Oh, I actually really like that. That is nice. All right, so this is the color. This is the Cherry Blossom Pink. As far as I know, they're only going to be selling, well, they may extend it, I guess, depending on how popular it is, but at least through May. And this is that basket weave design. And remember, the basket weave makes the top look a little bit different. What do you think about that?
It looks lighter than the ones that are in the box. I really like the pattern.
Yeah, I like the pattern too. I would agree with that. We have the one other that we opened the other day. But this is the leaf system, so we have 7 tiers for you to plant.
Oh, it's the same color.
Yeah, it's the same color. Oh, I see what you're saying. You thought this looked lighter. It's just because it was in the box. So this is the leaf setup, 7-inch depth in tiers. So we're going to be growing a whole bunch of herbs. Now, why did you want to do an herb garden?
Well, I like having herbs to cook with, and I just like the way that they smell and like all the different ways I can use them. Like rosemary is really good for hair growth and just massage oils in general. If you make massage oils with rosemary, so I really wanted to have that. And I love cilantro, and the cilantro at the store doesn't taste very good, so. Yeah,
sometimes the cilantro's really wilted. Basil. Oh, you got more basil. Yeah, they sent basil. It's like they knew you wanted to grow basil or something. Oh, that's really cool. Have they grown any herbs or anything like that in your ag class where you've been growing plants this semester?
We have a hydroponic system where we did cabbage. No, not cabbage. Lettuce.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow, it's really tall.
Yeah, this is what 7 tiers looks like. It is going to be tall, but remember, this is about the same height as the 5 tiers of the standard. That's the 10-inch depth.
You said it was the leaf shape. Is there a difference?
That's not leaf shape. They just call it the leaf planter. It has 7-inch depth here versus the standard, which is about 3 inches deeper. But that one you only have 5. All right, so we've got 7 tiers. I want to go ahead and get this started, and you're going to help me with the setup here. Hey, before we finish this setup, I want to remind you that there is a sale going on starting today, running for the next couple of days, a Mother's Day sale. So if you're looking for a Mother's Day gift for somebody, maybe this is a good option for you. We'll put a link in the description of this video for an additional $10 off their sale price, and then use code Guten at checkout, and you're going to do just fine with this. All right, we're going to set this up. I know she's going to have a blast with this. Let's go ahead. All right, so the first thing we want to do anytime I lay out a green stalk, the first thing I do is to make sure that everything is sitting on is nice and level. We're pretty close to level. Our bubble's looking pretty good there. And I'll turn it this way, and you can see that we're a little bit high on this end. Now I lowered that side a little bit, and let's see, we are pretty close here to level. And the reason that's so important is if it's not level, you know, the possibility of this being shaky and less stable, you don't want that at all. That's really important. So, all right, you ready? We're gonna go ahead and put soil, we're gonna go ahead and put our mix in the bottom tier here, and we're just gonna work our way up. And one of the things that we're gonna do, you'll see this in a second, we'll put a drip tray here at the top, which helps to disperse everything nice and evenly in each of these tiers. All right, we're gonna be putting in some reconditioned mix, some potting mix. This is some nice, well draining, it's a nice loose mix that we've grown in before. And we're gonna get this filled up to the top. All right, we got our first tier nicely filled up. What do you think about the color contrast, the dark soil and the pink?
I think it looks good. Just don't get it on the outside.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think it washes off pretty well. I don't think this texture actually creates too big of a problem. So yeah, we'll probably wash it down a little bit at the end. That looks super nice. Now we're gonna fill the rest of these up off camera because I know you don't want to see that over and over again, but let's talk about what it is that she wants to plant in here. So we've got a pretty wide collection of herbs here. And what was it you said you wanted to use that rosemary for?
Mainly for making oils, so hair oil, just like essential oils, like massage oils, just things like that.
You know, something I learned about rosemary is that they say the best time to harvest it is in the morning when the oils are at their height before the day progresses. And I think that is actually true for quite a few different vegetables, that morning time tends to be the best. Is there a herb in here that you like best in food?
Probably the cilantro.
The cilantro, yeah.
And parsley. I like cilantro and parsley.
I love cilantro so much.
Can't wait to put it in rice.
I'm telling you, cilantro and rice, but also, I don't know, they say, some people say it tastes like soap. I'm so glad I don't have that effect. If anybody of you who are watching this video right now thinks that cilantro tastes like soap, let us know. We'd love to hear about that. But I think cilantro is one of those strange vegetables that even if I'm not all that hungry, it makes me feel hungrier.
I just really like the taste.
Yeah, that taste is so good. Well, we've got some basil, sage, tarragon. I don't actually think we've grown tarragon here before, so this is a first for us. Some bouquet dill. And the one thing that we're not planting today, because it hasn't soaked long enough, is our dark green Italian parsley, our parsley in general. So that needs to soak. Those seeds need to soak for about 24 hours, and they're going to take a while to germinate. But we have those soaking already, so we'll plant those later on. We're going to get the rest of this planted. And I would say that this tarragon is probably, the tarragon and maybe the dill. Well, the dill is bouquet dill. I'd say the tarragon is probably the one we're going to plant on the bottom. Now, these need full sun. We're in our front garden space where they're going to get plenty of sun. So let's go ahead and start planting. All right, I think the plan right now is a full tier of each of the herbs. Is that what you want?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe like as we get higher up, maybe a mixture of the things that I don't need as much of.
Okay, so what's the first one? Hold it down here so we can all see. We're going to do the tarragon here. And one of the important things to teach somebody, especially as they're new to gardening.
To analyze the back. We're learning that in our ag class right now.
You're learning that in your ag class. That's what I was talking about earlier, the value of ag classes. But looking a little bit at the back, sometimes they give some really good planting instructions as well. Well, we didn't start seeds indoors 6 weeks before transplanting. Instead, we're sowing directly in full sun after a danger of frost is past. And I don't think, looking ahead, at least to the next 10 days, and then that gets us really close to our last frost date, I don't think we're going to have a problem with frost. And so here we go. We're going to plant this, what did you say, an 1/8 inch in depth, and it's going to take us 10 to 14 days. All right, so tiny little seeds. All right, let's go. That's why the smaller the seed, oftentimes that means a shallower depth. So we're just barely going to cover these. So what I usually do is just pull this a little bit away right here at the edge, okay? And then we'll just tilt it right back over top. And I'll do that for each of these. You go ahead and get them started. Yeah, I would put a couple, and a couple on each side maybe, yeah. And then we'll thin that out. One thing we don't want is for there to be no germination whatsoever in one of these. So I'd rather overseed and then thin. Plus these seeds are so small, we get quite a few of them in a pack. All right, let's get these last couple here. Again, I don't want to cover them up too immensely, but once these are in here, we're going to keep this nice and damp. Now, one thing we have to do is label these tiers as well. Okay, we'll put the rest of those seeds back in here. Good. We got our tarragon. Now, nicely and gently, don't compact it, just nicely and gently, right back over. And I'll let you do the rest of those. And we'll have a half a dozen pockets of tarragon started.
Did you do this one?
Yep, I did that one. All right, I think we're good. Now, can you go get one of those trays, the little gray trays? All right, so you can go ahead and place this on here. These are the water, the catch trays here.
Oh.
And that's where you see the actual curve, or the actual slant. You see it?
It's supposed to be like that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. That slant is supposed to be there because that's, again, what lets the water roll down to the next level. And you see the holes? We've got them all pushed out or pointed directly to the middle of each of our pockets. And that's how we get good flow out to each one. Yeah, the box, that's a good idea. Using the box as a place for us to keep the...
I guess you're also innovative.
Yeah, it was a great idea, Dad. Thank you. You did what?
Telekinesed it.
You telekinesed it to me?
Yeah.
You telekinesicized it to me? All right, so just make sure it's all nice and loose,
Yeah.
well mixed. And then this will be really straightforward, I think, just right in. Oh, I think we can probably, scoop it with our hands. You can see it's been repurposed because we got some of the roots from previous crops. And actually, this is even better because we don't have to be careful here, because it'll just fall right back down into the box. And I'll just spin this thing. So get the ones closest to you filled up, and then I'll spin it. Yeah, that looks good. All right, let's set it over there. And then the key here, if you can get down really low, you can see this. We got to get this locked in place. Right here, there's a little lip. You see the little lip right there? That fits on each one of these. And so when it's in place, that's one of the things that helps make it so stable. Oh, there we go. See, got it in place. Nice and stable. All right, next up we've got sage, another 16 to 24 inch plant, but this one the seeds are a little bit bigger. Here, let's pour a couple out onto my hand this time.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit bigger. You see that? Pretty big difference actually. So what do you expect? Deeper or shallower?
I think deeper. They look kind of like nightshade seeds.
Oh, interesting. Well, 1/4 inch instead of an 1/8 inch, so we can go a little bit deeper here. Again, 10 to 20 days to germination. Let's go ahead and get these in. So you don't have to go too deep, and I would probably go a little closer to the edge because you want this to be growing out and not in toward the center of the planter.
Can you get the far ones?
Yeah, of course. So we're looking at, again, about 1/4 inch depth. 1/4 inch. How much do you think a 1/4 inch is? If you had to guess, 1/4 inch on your finger. 1/4 inch. So
like this.
no, that's about a 1/2 inch. So I would say right about there. Oh. That's about a 1/4 inch. Okay. Oops. All right, we're gonna go a little bit bigger seeds. We have fewer of them. 2 and 2. Yep. So we're gonna about 4 per pocket. Again, we can always thin it. I don't mind thinning it down. All right, this third one is not going to be planted until tomorrow because this is where our parsley is going to go. So those will be soaked by tomorrow. So this will be our 4th tray. Let's get this one planted. All right, so this is the dill we're growing. This came from our local library where they had some seeds that they were sharing. I planted some of their seeds before and they've grown. These look different. What does it look like to you?
Celery seeds.
Celery? It looks a little bit like carrot seeds too, huh?
Oh yeah, it does look like carrot.
Yeah, that's because I think when the carrot goes to seed and the dill go to seed, the flower at least looks pretty similar in some ways. Okay, we don't have that many of these, so I'd say 2 per. I think actually somewhere between an 1/8 inch and a 1/4 inch with the winds blowing. The wind's been blowing pretty good this evening. Although to be fair, it's not been as bad as it's been the last couple of days. All right, and if we have extra left over, then we can go back and reseed some of those or seed them a little heavier. But I just don't want to run out. Germination is key here. We've got to get these germinated. We've got to get them started growing because we can always maintain these. And that is definitely going to be my daughter's responsibility for this green stalk. Hey, look how good this is looking so far. 4 tiers up. We still got 3 tiers to go. All right, our 5th tier, we're going to have some basil. Now, we actually have 2 different types of basil seed in here. Can I see those? Yeah. This one we harvested from our garden last season, and this one, well, that came from Green Stalk. So we're going to go ahead and plant half and half, you think?
I think so, yeah.
And it looks like about a 1/4 inch depth on these. So we'll do this half, the far half maybe here with our Guten gardening basil seed.
Oh, they gave us a pretty good amount.
And let's see what those seeds look like.
Oh.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, so let's just do a couple in each one, maybe a little, just like you were doing before. All right, we found what I find in every potato harvest these days is a walnut that's in that reconditioned soil. And the first thing my daughter asked was, can I crack it? I don't know. Go ahead and try. What are you gonna do, throw it? Sure. I told you. It's way it's way harder than you think it is. Well, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't break, but got rid of all the soil that was in here. Yeah, does look like a brain. This is rosemary we're going for now. Yeah. All right, so rosemary we need. Well, it doesn't say.
Let's look at the seeds.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see what we got in here. Well, this has not been opened yet.
Hamburger.
Hey, somebody's grilling out nearby.
Oh, so good.
We'd probably put some of these herbs in there if we were cooked. Okay, so I'd say probably what, 1/4 inch? Let's slowly hear a pull.
Tiny though, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. Look how small they are.
It's a similar size. We go between an 1/8 and a 1/4 inch. Let's do it.
1/6 of an inch.
1/6. Okay. I would say just a couple per. Yeah. 3 or 4 per. You probably have plenty. Yeah. Again, this is one of those that doesn't grow the same way here as it grows in a lot of other places. And what I mean by that is you get like here it's an annual, unless we bring it indoors. We do have one that's indoors right now, but a lot of places it's a perennial. Yeah, so they get massive.
I want a massive one.
You imagine how much you could get out of the rosemary then.
I want so much.
Right?
If you buy it at the grocery store, it's really expensive. You get a tiny little
sprig.
It's like this big.
I know.
$10. Crazy.
I know. Just about everything that's store-bought, especially if it's organic or it's higher quality, is going to be so expensive anyway. So
especially want the organic stuff, because if you're doing the oils out of stuff that isn't organic, you don't know what you're putting, what pesticide or whatever you're putting into your hair and stuff.
So this is our last one. Yeah, it's a perfect amount. This is the same amount needed basically for the 5-tier original as you need for the 7-tier.
I think that's the
leaf.
It's because the original is the deeper one.
Yeah, but it says, yeah, right, exactly. And it's about 5 cubic feet.
Yes.
This is our 7th tier. You know what? Why don't you take a step back? We haven't planted the top tier yet, but what do you think? I mean, it's a little dirty, yeah? But what do you think?
I think it's very pretty.
It's really pretty. I like that a lot, too. That's a good look. It's not too...
It doesn't look crazy pink. Like, it's not neon pink.
Right?
Like, it looks like it could actually be in a garden. Like, it doesn't look crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and get our cilantro planted. We've got a couple different varieties here, but this is a 50-day slow bolt cilantro. Hey, can you imagine a month and a half from now?
Slow bolt.
Slow bolting. What does that mean? You know what that means?
No.
Slow bolting. Do you know what it means when a plant... Here, step back a little bit. You know what it means when a plant bolts?
Oh, isn't that when it goes straight to seed?
It goes to seed, and so...
So it won't go to seed as quickly. Because the cilantro requires the leaves, though, right?
Yeah, but if it goes to seed...
That doesn't make sense. All of them require the leaves.
Well, no, that's all right. But when a cilantro bolts, or when any of these plants bolt, especially early, it's not always a bad thing for it to go to seed. I mean, you want to collect this. I'm doing your job. Oh, well, that's all right. It's not always a bad thing for it to go to seed. The problem is that if it goes to seed, I should have just put 3 in there, early on, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of the cilantro itself.
Yeah. Do you think the people that like make the seeds, not make the seeds, but grow the seeds and do just the seeds, do you think there's a way to encourage a plant to go to seed faster?
What do you think those seeds are called?
Fast bolt seeds.
Do you know what the seeds are called for cilantro? Coriander.
Ah, yeah. I almost said mustard.
Coriander.
Does the coriander taste like cilantro? Or does it taste different?
It's a different taste.
Earthy. Are there any other herbs that use the seed to make spices?
I haven't really grown as many herbs as other things, so I
this is a first then.
Well, this is definitely first to have an herb tower for us. That looks so cool. All right, my daughter just stepped inside because she needed to go get some stuff to label these. So I can say this because she's not here. This is such an enjoyable part of gardening for me. being able to spend time with my kids out here, getting them involved. And I said at the beginning, I have 2 gardeners in training. My younger gardener in training is going to get a different green stalk. I'm not just going to give one and let them grow, but that's for a different video. Or if we don't do a video, you'll see updates on her green stalk as well. I wanted to give them both an opportunity to do this, to take part. And so this is a small space where they can get a lot of plants for their effort, and I think they'll do quite well. I'm going to go ahead and give this a good watering, but I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, there is a sale, a Mother's Day sale for this particular setup. It's as cheap as they're going to get. I know it's a little bit pricey. I always acknowledge that piece, so if it's not for you, it's not for you. But check out that sale. Again, we'll have a link in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, if you're excited to see where this herb garden goes, I know I am, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment. Remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.